Good Wednesday morning. Welcome to the WLBB Community Voice here on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3, streaming live online at newstalk1330.com. This morning we are on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. You can probably see my handsome young guest sitting across from me right now. I'll introduce you to him in just a second. He's gonna play along here and read the trivia question this morning, our random Christmas trivia cash giveaway. I'm going to ask you this question. Actually, rather, my guest is going to ask you that question. And when you know the answer, you're going to visit the station's website, newstalk1330.com. Click the random Christmas trivia banner. Enter your name, your email, your phone, and, of course, your answer. Please only put it in there once, because we've got investigators that will scope out. And if they see you on there twice, they're going to yank all your answers, and you won't win. So just send one answer for that day, so you're not disqualified. On December the 14th, between 12 noon and 2 o'clock, one of our 12 daily winners, along with a 13th winner selected at random this morning, or that morning, will have a chance to turn that $100 into $1,000 at a live remote broadcast at the Carrollton on Ice, the new covered outdoor ice rink located at the Polar Pavilion at East Carrollton Rec Center, 410 North Lake Drive in Carrollton. The question coming up right now. Sir, please share that with our audience.
Indeed. The question is, where did Joseph take Mary and the baby to protect them from Herod's murderous intentions?
Do you know that answer, aside from it being right there below that? Did you know it before?
Yes, sir.
Did you? Very good. Very good. All right. Now go to our website, newstalk1330.com, and do all the stuff you're supposed to do with your information. And, of course, the answer. I haven't said so, but my name is Colin Worthington. Thanks for tuning into the Community Voice program this morning. My guest this morning, he was sworn into office as mayor of the city of Temple, January the 8th, 2018. Been there ever since. Grew up in the Yorkville community of Paulding County, graduating from Paulding County High School in 1978, Kennesaw State University in 1983 with an ABS in mathematics. He taught at Paulding County High and Temple High School. Retired from education in 2012. Married to Donna Conaway Johnson since 1984. They have a son, Matthew, a daughter, Christina, 5 grandkids. And along with teaching, I just thought this was cool. He assisted his wife coaching girls basketball at Temple High School from 1988 to 2009. His name is Michael Johnson, and again, the mayor of the city of Temple. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
And thanks for coming out.
Well,
and
appreciate the invite.
I know we try to do a kind of an annual review, if not biannual.
Yes, sir.
So I appreciate you coming out to give us. Let's see what happened in 2024, what's happening right now in Temple, and what's going to happen in 2005 in Temple, if we can predict that. First of all, I do want to discuss, you guys lost 2 fixtures in government in the city of Temple this year. They didn't pass away. They just retired. They've been there long enough to stay down. You mind talking about what they mean to the city and their departures?
Certainly. Well, one of those was City Administrator William Osborne. We called him Bill, and Mr. Bill. He'd been with the city for about 8 years, started about 2015, late in that year. And Bill was a retired city manager from Douglasville, and he came over to us, and that was before I became mayor, but he helped solidify that position and navigated us through several years of just getting over some humps that came along our way. So, indeed, his mark is we can't erase it. It will always be there, and his guidance in a lot of ways. And he was a great help to me as I began this venture, and I'm grateful for him forever, because it was very insightful from him. His experience is just an enormous treasure. And it will always be, and we'll always remember him well. And then other retirement was 16-year Senior Center Director Sandra Stillwell, and Sandra's a legend in this area, and when it comes to Senior Center activities, and her mark will never be forgotten as well. She's a treasure that we can always claim. And I think she's featured on a magazine cover this week.
West Georgia Women.
West Georgia Women. That's right. And so we're grateful for the service Sandra provided to the seniors, and our senior center is a shining star in that area because of the work she put forth and the way she built up the program. So we're grateful to her and salute her and wish her well in retirement and all the activities she can pile into a day. We hope she has a great time with that. And then there's one other retirement that's upcoming, and this is we've tried to figure out whether this has been equaled or exceeded, and we haven't come up with anybody, but we've got an employee that's retiring later this month, Cliff Sanders, a longtime policeman, and then now he's into administrative services in our PD, but he's got a 35-year career with the city of Temple, and his retirement is upcoming later this month, and we wish him well, and we'll see if anybody matches that. We can find anybody else who's already done 35 years in the past, but anybody in the future does 35 years. That's a high mark to achieve, and we're thankful to him and grateful for his service to the PD.
Absolutely. Congratulations to him as well. I guess I could probably stick with the PD with this question. I get Temple, City of Temple, we're up to 6,000 people, 6,500 right now?
6,200, they tell us.
And that's, I think in the past year you guys had maybe approved some rezonings ahead of some developments for housing. What, how many new houses are currently being added? And I guess, I don't know if there's still talk for more that are still in the works. But
there's not a current project, a new project anyway.
That's being brought. Okay.
There are other projects that are continuing on, some even dating back to the first decade of the 2000s, when the economic issues arose and some of those things kind of suspended and just stopped entirely and got picked up later on. But the Evergreen subdivision is continuing its building over there near the Providence and Elementary and the Temple Middle School. And then we have the newest one that's not yet started. They've just gotten approval, actually reapproval because they had to reapply. But Inline Communities, which is going to be built kind of in a triangle between Asbury Road and Highway 113 North going out of town. I was told by one of their people that it's probably about 18 months from now, or maybe a little bit less than that, before the first house will be constructed and sold. And then it'll be about a 3-year process after that for them to finish up. There's about 240 or so living spaces involved in that, about 60-something townhomes, and the rest will be single-family dwellings of a variety of sizes.
So I guess there's a chance, just in those two subdivisions, there's a chance to see population grow by 1,000 in the next 2 years, right?
Possible, yes, sir.
What's your perspective, or what's your take on, we see a lot of discussions going on in Villa Rica, the multi-family housing versus single-family housing. Does Temple have a view on that for the city as a whole? Do you have a view on that?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a city-adopted mindset, but from what the reading of the temperature in the room is, it's not something we want to emphasize as far as multi-family dwelling places. We know that there's a mixture within some of the zoning classifications and some of the developments that want to come in, but it's not the primary aspect of it. We're still most of those, all of those so far have emphasized single-family dwellings in a greater number than the townhomes themselves, and essentially townhomes is what we emphasize. We'd rather have that than just rental properties.
Are there still some attractive properties, that you could see housing going up in the city of Temple, some places that...
there is still some areas around.
For whole development, maybe not, like 10 homes or something, even though I think a lot of people prefer those, the smaller stuff.
Well, we've had some smaller along Asbury and Rainey Road in that kind of that intersection. There's been some development there of bigger lots, bigger houses, and that's been, they're very attractive. That's come along in the last few years. There is property that's probably a possibility. It's just something that the city would have to take a really careful look at, make sure we don't overload ourselves. We have been very fortunate that we've had capacity in our wastewater treatment plant and within our water system, but as these things have come along, then those areas have to be really carefully considered as whether we've got space to handle those services, particularly the providing water.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that too. I got a whole list of stuff here as far as the water system. Those are big discussions over the last few years, sewer system. Public Works. We'll talk all about that in this program. We're going to take our first break right now, continue our conversation with Michael Johnson, Mayor of the City of Temple. When we come back, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to post those to the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page, and I'll try to look at those and share those during our conversation this morning. Community Voice is brought to you by Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy.
Consider the Mobius strip. Take a strip of paper, twist it, connect the ends. This connection forms a continuous loop. Seamless, infinite. That's how your healthcare should be too. At Tanner Health, the Mobius is our symbol and our promise, representing our continuum of care and our commitment that the services you need will be here for you always. We're not just changing healthcare, we're redefining it. See more at tanner.org.
The World Language Scholar Journey at Oak Mountain Academy is designed to provide students with a clearly defined, curriculum-based track to acquire essential knowledge and skills for success in biliteracy fields of study. The successful completion of this journey provides colleges with a method to recognize a rigorous foreign language immersion experience for all students at Oak Mountain Academy. I'm Patrick Uran, head of school, inviting you to journey with us on the mountain. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us. Discover your journey at OMA. Prepare, explore, and achieve.
841, welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3, streaming live online at newstalk1330.com. And this morning we are on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. Thanks to those of you already checking in on the Facebook page, giving other Temple residents heads up that the mayor's on the program this morning. Michael Johnson, our guest, talking about the past, present, and future for the city of Temple. We did kind of touch on this, talked about water a little bit, capacity for that. Let's talk about the state of infrastructure in the city of Temple. You talked about improvements of water. Were you guys adding access to the water, or did you have to widen the pipes or things like that, or is that all part of the same process?
We have a project ongoing where a new water line is replacing old. The old has been there quite a while, and it's pretty small, and we're going to a 10-inch line in those areas, which should increase volume and capacity to handle the needs of downtown. It's actually along Sage Street, kind of dips around behind the shops on Sage, that's on Sage Street in Tallapoosa, and then goes back over to Sage before it heads on down toward the north to the Sunoco plant. So that's a big improvement. We anticipate that we'll eliminate some leaky pipes that perhaps were unknown about because of the age of the piping, and it wasn't necessarily manifesting itself on the top of the ground and that kind of thing. We're always looking for ways to limit our leaks and try not to lose out on getting paid for the water that gets used. And so that's a big deal, and that's something we're constantly scrutinizing to make sure that we can get there. And so that's a big thing, as well as the AMI meter project. We got that almost 100% finished, and that's been online for several months, and that certainly enhances our ability to measure the water usage in a consistent way. We don't have to stagger the dates in which folks' meters get read. Mm-hmm. It's all done on the same day, captured into by the data that's captured into the cloud, so to speak, and then utilized to provide the billing.
Is that the best way to tell if there's a leak? Is that the first way?
Well, we do have a way to monitor by going in and checking accounts. We can see where there's spikes, so we can help homeowners identify. We can give them a heads up that when we notice it, that they've got a spike in their usage that's over a certain period of time, and they can check in and see if they can find where they're losing it. But then also, the AMI doesn't necessarily tell us where our leaks are, but it helps the residents with finding out they've got one.
What's the delay in not being 100%? I mean, you guys were like 90%.
Well, yeah, it's in the high 90s. I think there was a point where we were waiting on some of the meters to come in from the commercial. Some of the commercial locations, and I'm not really sure about the status of that. It may be already to 100%.
One of our favorite topics, the trains going through town. Actually, let me ask you this first before you talked about downtown. Are all those businesses in that one strip? I mean, it's an attractive strip. I mean, it's a cozy little spot. Are all those businesses occupied? All those buildings occupied with business?
I think so.
Are they?
If no more than one or two, maybe, and there may be processes going on right now to get those going. I know part of those buildings had to be gutted, and they haven't been reconstructed. But the ones that got four walls, I don't know that there's any empty space or more than one or two spaces that are not being used.
Well, good.
And in fact, we got a new salon is opening soon or is already open there on Sage Street.
Yeah, no, I do. I mean, it's an idyllic spot.
Yes, sir.
I enjoyed. You're going to get the train station there, or not the train station, but the tracks right there. And speaking of the trains, always creating a nuisance for our small towns that are along that train system from Tallapoosa. I'm sure it happens in Alabama too, from Tallapoosa to Douglas County.
Right.
We hear about issues with the train, and I know you've had conversations with local representatives. Is there an update on what the city of Temple can expect or what they hope to see?
Unfortunately, there's no new news to talk about. We're always hopeful that someday that we can get a crossing that's above the railroad or under the railroad. More than likely, it'd be above, and that folks could travel that without any delays from the trains parking and all that kind of stuff.
Well, GDOT reached out to you or the train service, and maybe they're both working together to try to get something done for you guys and help you with a grant as well.
Right, that's right. And we were trying to get GDOT to carry that ball for us, and I haven't had that conversation with Public Works recently, so I have to check and see where what the status of that is. And it would be great to get there. Right now, we just have to deal with. We want to keep as many crossings that are safe as much as possible, because in town we got 3, and then just on the edge of town there's another off of 78 Ringer crossing that we utilize, because that parking track is right there, and the only crossing that's saved from being blocked by a park train is the Sunoco crossing, but it's only for automobiles. The big trucks, although they try from time to time, they can't really cross there at all. So,
is there no way to notify like emergency vehicles before they get down to that, or do they come across it and then they got to ride all the way down to Sunoco to get over?
I'm not really sure if there's some kind of a communication by the train system to tell us what's going on. I know they're in communication with 911 and that kind of thing, but I'm not privy to all the details to that.
Any reason to think that you guys? I mean, I'm just curious why you guys, because I haven't heard anything out of Tallapoosa, but I don't get to go to many of their meetings. But I wonder. I mean, it seems like you guys are getting the first dibs on this. I mean, for them to reach out and say, "Hey, let us do this for you," as opposed to Tallapoosa.
Right. Well, I know we were told that our crossing situation is kind of like up there in the top 5 in the state as far as the needs of something to resolve it. And that's great, but that's not really a top 5 you want to be a part of, and sometimes the resolution is a lot slower to come by.
Have you had a chance to talk with the new state representative, the gentleman stepping in for Jay Collins?
Got an appointment with him tomorrow, actually, so we're going to have a chat and talk about stuff that really we'd love for him to give attention to, and to share with him what we've had discussions.
Give us an example here,
before.
Mayor. What are some things that you're going to ask him? Hey, look at this, consider this.
Well, the railroad, of course, but also we've had discussions with GDOT about rerouting the truck traffic through town, and because there are some areas that we'd like for it not to be, and we talked about
What's the process of getting that done? Because they're always, every time something like that happens, they say, well, GPS told me that. What's the process of getting that changed?
Well, that's a good question, because we've often wondered that ourselves. I'm not sure if we can always blame the GPS. I think sometimes it's just not paying attention to signage and that kind of thing. Yeah. But we'd love to route the trucks through that need to go through downtown onto Carrollton Avenue, right there. Just south of the Methodist Church, and beef up that road and let that be a one-way, going toward the railroad, and then they can go to the right to get to the flat crossing, or if they're headed to Sunoco, they can turn left and go on down Sage. But just that curve that goes in between the churches, that's pretty. We were fortunate to get our sidewalk repaired by GDOT a few years ago, but we would like to preserve it and get that truck traffic a little. But we've had those discussions with GDOT and their folks, and it's been under study for a while. Of course, you kind of get in the queue line and wait, and we've had some indications that may not be favorable, but we'll see.
Any talk of any cool new roundabouts for the city of Temple from GDOT?
We haven't had. There was talk about a roundabout possibly at the intersection of Sage and Highway 78 at the fire station, but it was. I don't know that was ever official. It was just kind of one of those things that got in the wind.
They're popping up, or at least the discussions of them are popping up all over the place, and I still see a 50-50 balance on people who love them and people who just don't want to deal with them.
Right.
But, hey, let's take our second break here. We'll come back and conclude our conversation with Temple Mayor Michael Johnson on this morning's Community Voice program, as always brought to you by Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy.
Consider the Mobius strip. Take a strip of paper, twist it, connect the ends. This connection forms a continuous loop. Seamless, infinite. That's how your healthcare should be too. At Tanner Health, the Mobius is our symbol and our promise, representing our continuum of care and our commitment that the services you need will be here for you always. We're not just changing healthcare, we're redefining it. See more at tanner.org.
The Entrepreneur Scholar Journey at Oak Mountain Academy is designed to provide students with a clearly defined curriculum-based track to acquire essential knowledge and skills for success in business and leadership. Critical areas include identifying entrepreneurial characteristics, selecting a value position, and business model development. I'm Patrick Uran, head of school, inviting you to journey with us on the mountain. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us. Discover your journey at OMA. Prepare, explore, and achieve.
852, welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice program. My name's Colin Worthington. Got 7 more minutes left with our guest this morning. He is the mayor of the city of Temple, Michael Johnson. Want to think about a couple of construction projects that have been ongoing for a while. Temple City Hall, you guys are moving over there to, a great spot actually. But
yes, sir.
Yeah, what's the latest on that?
We are close to getting in there, and we plan on getting started and having events, having meetings in there in February.
You guys going to set up cameras and to live stream that?
That's in our plans.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
There's a lady who does live stream that, the community Temple Civic Community or something like that. The audio's never.
And we will be having an event to honor Mr. William Simmons, a longtime council member, who it's named in his honor, and we'll be having a special event for that.
Very cool. Yeah, keep us posted on that. You and I have talked about the potential for this museum for the last several years. What's the latest on that?
We're in the measure twice, cut once kind of thing. We're studying what we can do and how and what rate, what pace we can have in doing it. But it's still under study, and to get some plans together that are agreeable from the standpoint of the cost and the result.
Will that be under Parks and Rec?
Yes.
As far as that, are you getting a lot of interest as far as people want to donate things?
We've had that. It hasn't been really a lot lately, but in the early, a few years ago, we got a good bit of stuff that was contributed.
I do want to give you guys credit for this. I want to say since 2018, when you were sworn in as mayor, I believe every single year the millage rate has gone down. It's
been rolled back,
and that has been rolled back. That is something that people. They reach out to me every year when we come around this. Some people don't understand the concept, but other people, they're really frustrated when their city just maintains it, and whether they collect an extra $60,000 because property values went up or things like that. But how are you guys able to do that?
It's very carefully, and the council's been very committed to being sensitive to those situations, to the tax millage rate, and so far we've been able to manage the financial management of the city and able to do that.
Are you seeing revenues go up? Is that able to help with that?
Typically, yes, and that's been a great aspect of it. In spite of those rollbacks, we still are growing in revenue pull from the variety of sources.
Okay. When you guys are working with the chamber or Carol tomorrow, when you're promoting the city of Temple to attract business, what are you? I guess what's the most important thing that you're trying to relay to people coming to city of Temple? Is it just its location off I-20?
Well, that's probably the number one selling point, as far as, especially from the standpoint of business and manufacturing, is the closeness to I-20. You just jump right on it and go either way. And plus, our wastewater treatment plant capacity has always been a help too, because we're able to handle, within reason. That has to be studied and considered whether or not it's too much or too little, or within our capacity.
Is there's still industrial room in
There
Temple?
is. There
Okay.
is.
So I don't think the city of Villa Rica has it.
Well,
That's
we that's another one of our selling points too, is that we're next on the. There's not much between us and Atlanta that's still available,
Yeah.
So we're waiting.
All
We're right there.
Wrapping up our program here with City of Temple Mayor Michael Johnson on this morning's Community Voice program. Anybody want to give a shout out to? I mean, anybody who's excelled? I mean, anything you're really, really proud of that the city's been a part of this year, or that you guys have accomplished?
Well, I would like to highlight our rec department, because recently there were 8 awards received from the Georgia Parks and Recreation Association District 4 Class C, and we got Outstanding Agency of the Year. We got Outstanding Program. That was our Jam in the Park, which is in conjunction with the Optimist Club of Temple. Outstanding Project was our tennis courts improvement. You need to see it from overhead. It's a beautiful result there. Outstanding Volunteer in Athletics, Donna Johnson, who I know her, and Outstanding Volunteer in Programming with Amber D'Amico. Outstanding Volunteer Parks and Maintenance, Mr. Charles McKinley. Outstanding Support Staff Programming, Shanika Brisky. And Outstanding Staff and Athletics, Kenny Bellinger. So we're proud of these folks. We know they do a great job every day. It's nice when somebody else outside of Temple recognizes that and awards them accordingly.
Not to take away from all that, Mayor, but do you guys have pickleball courts?
We do.
Do you? All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Are they being used? I mean, are they
Yes,
as
sir.
popular as they seem to be?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you playing yourself?
Not yet.
All right. Michael Johnson, our guest on this morning's Community Voice program. Coming up this month, as far as city council meetings, anything that people should look out for?
Well, we just had our regular meeting this past Monday night.
Monday, yeah.
And unless there's a special need, we won't have any more meetings in 2024. We'll just get rolling in 2025, January.
Very cool. Thank you for coming out this morning.
Yes, sir. Thank you for
And,
the opportunity.
Absolutely. Thank you all for watching and listening to this morning's Community Voice program here on News Talk 1330, FM 106.3. Again, if you missed any of this program, it'll be in podcast form on our website at newstalk1330.com. Also, if you heard the trivia question this morning, you'll want to go to that website and look for that banner so you get your chance to win $100. Tomorrow's program, Josh will be back in this seat. I know there's like 5,000 people who are posting here like, where's Josh? Where's Josh? Bring Josh back. But he'll be back tomorrow morning's program hosting Oak Mountain Academy right here at 8:30. Thanks to Joel. Thanks to Josh this morning. Of course, thanks to the mayor. And thank you to you for listening and watching this morning. Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy.